Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack a code, one that's going to completely change how you look at headlines, data, you name it. And it all starts with a kind of weird question.
All right, so let's just jump right in. Does eating ice cream cause sunburn? I know, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, right? But what if I told you the data, the actual numbers, show a really strong link between the two?
I mean, look at this. You might see a stat that says something like 70% of people who eat ice cream regularly also report higher rates of sunburn. And it's not just a one-off. If you were to plot this on a graph, you'd see as ice cream sales go up, boom, so do sunburn cases. The pattern is definitely there.
So what in the world is going on here? To get to the bottom of this, we need to think like a detective. And every good detective needs a toolkit. Our first tool is something psychologists and scientists use all the time. It's called correlational research.
So what is correlational research? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's all about observing. We're not running some big experiment or changing anything. We're just watching the world, taking notes, and measuring if two things seem to have a connection, a pattern, like our ice cream and sunburns.
All right, so let's get into section 1, spotting the pattern. The very first step in any investigation like this is just to figure out the direction of the pattern. Are these two things moving in sync, or are they going in opposite ways? And it really boils down to two basic kinds of patterns. You've got your positive correlation. That's when both things move in the same direction. So they either both go up together or they both go down together. Simple enough, right? Then you have the opposite, negative correlation. This is when they move in opposite directions. As one thing goes up, the other one goes down.
So, for a positive correlation, think about this. The more you study, the higher your grades usually are, right? Or the less you study, the lower they are. See? They're moving together. Same deal with exercise. The more you work out, the better your fitness gets. It's a pretty intuitive idea.
Now for the flip side, negative correlation. This one makes a lot of sense too. The more time you spend just scrolling on your phone, the lower your grades might dip. Or maybe the more screen time you have, the less you're physically active. One goes up, the other goes down. That's the classic negative correlation. Okay, so section 2, the relationship score. Knowing the direction, positive or negative, is a great start, but it's only half the story. A really good detective needs to know not just the direction, but the strength of the connection. I mean, how strong is this link really? And guess what? We have a tool for that too. It's called the correlation coefficient. It sounds fancy, but it's just a score, usually shown as the letter R. And this one little number, from -1 to +1, is amazing. It tells us everything we need to know, both the direction and the strength of the relationship, all packed into one.
So let's say you see a score like this, plus 0.98. That little number tells you two huge things right away. The plus sign, that means it's a positive relationship. And the number, 0.98, is super close to 1, which tells us the connection is, well, it's incredibly strong.
So here's a little cheat sheet for reading that R value. The closer you get to +1 or -1, the stronger the link is. A number like 0.8 or -0.9, that's a strong connection. As you move closer to 0, the relationship gets weaker and weaker. And if you get a big fat 0, well, that means there's no relationship at all. They're totally unrelated.
Okay, section 3, the hidden factor. We've got our detective kit now, right? We know how to spot the direction of a pattern, and we know how to measure its strength. So I think we're finally ready to go back and crack our original case, the mystery of the ice cream and the sunburns.
I mean, the logic seems so straightforward, doesn't it? Step 1, people eat more ice cream. Step 2, more people get sunburned. Conclusion? Ice cream must cause sunburns. But this, right here, is a classic thinking trap. And it's because we're missing the single most important clue. And that brings us to the big reveal. It's called the third variable problem. This is the idea that there might be a hidden culprit, some secret factor that we haven't even measured that's pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's something that's influencing both of the things we're looking at.
And for our ice cream mystery, the hidden culprit is hot weather. That's our third variable. Think about it. When it's hot outside, what happens? Oh, for one, people eat more ice cream to cool down. And what else happens when it's hot? People spend more time outside in the sun, which is where they get sunburned. So there it is, case closed. Ice cream doesn't cause sunburns, hot weather causes both.
And once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. This same logic helps us debunk all sorts of common myths. Let's take another one. The idea that sugar makes kids go wild and get all hyperactive at birthday parties. You see the correlation? Sure. But is it really causation?
Well, if you look closer, the sugar probably isn't the real villain. The real culprits, the third variables, are all the other things happening at the party. You know, the general excitement, the loud music, all the stimulating games, maybe even the parents just expecting to see hyper kids after they eat cake. All of those things are the more likely cause.
All right, section 4. You're the detective now. So you've got the framework. You know about direction, you know about strength, and you know about that sneaky third variable. So, it's your turn. Let's put your new detective skills to the test.
Okay, first question for you. A psychologist finds that as students' study hours increase, their test scores also tend to increase. So, both things are going up together. What's the best way to describe this relationship?
If you said B, a positive correlation, you got it. That's exactly right, because both variables are moving in the same direction. But here's the key, right? We still can't say for sure that studying causes the high scores. It just shows they're linked. There could always be other factors.
Okay, let's try another one. A researcher finds a positive correlation between the number of hours a student sleeps and their GPA. So, more sleep is linked to a higher GPA. What's a likely third variable that could be explaining this relationship?
And the answer is A, socioeconomic status. If you got that, excellent work. This is a classic example of a third variable. Think about it. Socioeconomic status can affect whether you have a quiet place to sleep, but it can also affect your access to things like tutoring, better nutrition, or less stress, all things that can impact academic performance.
So, if there is one thing, one single idea you take away from this entire explainer, let it be this. It's simple, but it is so powerful. Say with me, correlation does not imply causation. Just because two things are connected doesn't mean one causes the other. The next time you hear a headline linking two things, your first question should be, okay, but what's the hidden factor?
And that really brings us to our final question for you to think about. What relationships do you see out there in your own life that might have a hidden third variable? Now that you have this tool, I promise you're going to start seeing potential correlations everywhere you look. So keep questioning, keep digging for that real story behind the numbers. Thanks for watching.